And welcome to another edition of The End Zone. I'm Colby Daniels. Joining us this week is Gideon Hamilton with WWLS, The Sports Animal. Perfect timing, Gideon, to have you on the show doing pre- and post-game shows. I would imagine that this week's post-game show had to be off the rails considering what happened with the Thunder's Game 3 comeback, a historic comeback.
You would think so, wouldn't you?
Or maybe everybody was asleep by the time that game ended.
No, look, here's the thing. When you haven't seen something outside of one time in NBA history, obviously that's something to celebrate and be wowed by. But, Colby, nothing surprises me with this Thunder team anymore. They're incredibly resilient and incredibly skilled, and when they put themselves in holes this year, the few times that they have, they've seemingly always been able to work their way out of it, and we saw another example of that last night. A little bit of assistance that Memphis's best player goes down with injury, but defensively and offensively, for the Thunder, just a stellar second half, and that puts them in position to wrap up their first-round series and let the series that determines who they're going to face in the second round go a little bit longer, wear those teams down, so they'll be in a more advantageous position in round two. Feels
like a pretty big fight between the Clippers and Nuggets as far as a second-round opponent. Hopefully that thing goes the distance and the Thunder get a little time to recover from, however long this Grizzlies series goes. I think we all expect that they're going to wrap it up in 4. It was a historic Game 1 win, right? Winning by 51 points, margin of victory. Historic comeback in Game 3. I don't know what is in store for us on Saturday, but I would imagine it's just got to be a win of some kind, right? Everybody's just going to be satisfied to just get this series over with and advance.
Yeah, do what they need to do, and that's where the depth of this team looms so large. You've got, who is going to be your league MVP this year in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who certainly hasn't played up to his lofty standards in terms of shooting the basketball in the first 3 games, and you've had so many other players contribute, and that's something that I think has helped the Thunder out to the historic success that they had in the regular season. I think it's going to be great in the playoffs as well. They're not going to run 10 deep solid, but the 8 deep, 9 deep that they play and have played so far, all of those guys have played really well.
Are you worried about SGA in this playoff run? I told people after the first 2 games, you have bad games, right? Like sometimes you just don't shoot the ball well. It happens. Game 3, I did have a small feeling of him like trying to force the issue at times. Again, I don't think it was a big issue, but it felt like he was just trying to make something happen when there were other plays to be made. I'm not worried. Are you
No.
like waving a concern flag or anything like that?
No. The lid is not off the panic button.
Okay.
It's just poor shooting. A lot of these shots that he makes typically goes in. I fully anticipate he's going to reach that other gear at some point in the postseason. The one thing to keep an eye on him are the teams that are not afraid to really dig in to a trap and pick him up on ball early. Those are the teams that typically have success against the Thunder, not allowing him to even get a shot off and just having to trust his teammates. So that's something I would look for in some future series.
Last year in the playoffs, obviously Shai was doing his thing. There was a lot of talk about the supporting cast and how much they need to elevate this postseason. You make some moves in the offseason to help the roster as well. How do you feel about specifically J-Dub and Chet? Both of those guys have been great to this point, but it's also the number 8 seed that you're facing.
Sure. You've got a team that you match up extremely well with here in the first round. The second round will be a little bit different, but Jalen has elevated his game from where he was a season ago in the postseason. Chet Holmgren had a tremendous second half to Game 3. He scored 23 points and knocked down 5 3-point shots. I think for Chet, a lot of what he accomplishes in the playoffs are going to be matchup based, but just having him out there as a 7-footer, a guy that can protect the rim and shoot 3-point shots that you have to honor defensively as well, is just so valuable for this team. So I've been impressed with both of those guys' performances to this point.
What is the biggest difference with this team and the team that was in the postseason a year ago as the 1 seed? Because I think for me, clearly the defense is on a completely different level, but I think also the depth and the amount of different lineups you can throw at anybody depending on what they're going to throw at you, right? You have so much lineup versatility with this group, and I think Alex Caruso really sets the tone for a lot of that.
Well, I mean, it'd be easy for me to say the difference is Josh Giddey is not on this team, so you don't have anybody that you can hunt defensively if you're the opposition. And also you have a really big body that's creating extra possessions for you, a terrific on-ball and off-ball screen setter in Isaiah Hartenstein. And so these two additions have worked out perfectly, obviously, in the regular season, but they're so valuable in postseason play as well. This team is really made to perform well. There are just no discernible weaknesses on it. Last year, it was obviously size. It was obviously rebounding and rim protection, and they've really shored that up with the additions that they've made.
I also think Caruso's defense and just, I think, hustle, if you will, has been contagious so far in the 3 games against the Grizzlies. When he's doing that, it seems like everybody else has sort of elevated.
Yeah, completely agree with that. Everybody sort of takes motivation in performing on that end of the floor, and that's something that you see gradually raise throughout the postseason. But this team's done it since game 1.
All right, we got to take a timeout. Gideon Hamilton with WWLS, the Sports Animal, is joining us. He's going to rejoin us later in the show to talk some OSU spring football, as a couple of quarterbacks have hit the transfer portal. Up next, it's Oklahoma gymnast Audrey Davis, 5-time national champion, joining us here on the End Zone. Welcome back to the End Zone. I'm Colby Daniels, and joining us is a very special guest, 5-time national champion Audrey Davis with OU Gymnastics. Audrey, we appreciate you making time in your busy schedule this week to join us. What's this last week been like for you?
Well, thank you for having me. It's been absolutely amazing. I mean, we've had so many fun things that we've been doing this week, but it's just been a surreal experience being able to end my gymnastics career the way that we did.
Does this one feel, I mean, sometimes they say you never forget your first. Sometimes it's, the last one is always the most special. This is not only the last one, but the final one, right? Like you're done. So how does this one compare to previous national championships?
I think that every single championship has been so different. Every single year has just been absurdly different. There is no comparison, but this year has really been a fairy tale ending. I think that for our senior class, we really walked into the gym day one and we knew what we wanted the end to be like, and we achieved that, and it was absolutely amazing, and we couldn't be more grateful for the way we ended.
Obviously, last year ended in disappointment. I don't know how much of that was a factor for this year, but you guys go into this postseason and everybody's like, there's another one like that close. Was that something that was on your mind, like redemption in any way?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I was thinking about it, obviously, throughout the season. It didn't end the way that we wanted it to, but the whole season, I think that we were just making a name for ourselves, continuing that legacy that OU women's gymnastics holds. So as we were going through, I think that the pressure was slowly leaning off of us, and we're just falling into our own gymnastics, focusing on what we do every single day in the gym. And we went out there on semifinals and then day 2, and we went out there and killed it.
You've been doing this for a long time, so I'm sure I know the answer to this question, but I have to ask anyway, because it was going through my mind watching you guys. You start on the beam, out of the gate, you're the first one up, and I'm like, what is she feeling right now? What were those nerves or just the overall feelings at that point?
I don't even know if I could put it into words, but I don't think that I was as nervous as people think that I should be or was. I went out there and I was excited because we got to start on beam, and our beam team is so good. I had full confidence in our team and what we were going to accomplish there, and then after that we were guns blazing, we were ready to go.
Was there a moment, I think, throughout Saturday where you guys, felt like, hey, we're in really good position to close this thing out, or do you try to block that out as much as possible? Because the lead kind of started to get up there pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, there are some people who watch the scores, some people who don't watch the scores. I like watching the scores throughout the meet. I like to know where we're at, where we're sitting in, the things that we can accomplish throughout the night. But I think that after beam, I was really comfortable with where we're at, but then after vault, we were like, oh, okay, we got this. We're going to bars. We are amazing at bars. Our bar team is just like hands down incredible. Every single person from start to finish knows exactly what to do, and we went out there and we had so much fun. It was so amazing.
I think it was between the vault and the bars that the television broadcast went to a shot of you like hyping up the team. Yeah. What were you saying to the team at that point?
Was it the bar talk maybe?
I don't know. They were all surrounding you, and and you're like so intense, like into it.
So I do the bar talk
Okay.
before we stand in the chalk bowl, and we talk before we go on bars. We do a talk before vault and floor and bars. We don't do it before beam because everybody likes to be in a different zone. But I was kind of just telling everybody to be their normal, do their gymnastics like they know how to do it, because that is good enough. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to do all this, all that. Just go out there and do what you do every single day in the gym. You've only been doing gymnastics your whole life. It's no different today.
There you go. There you go.
So-
Well, what is next for you as an individual?
Yeah, I am going to finish my master's at OU and student coach this next year. I'm going to get my real estate license, and then hopefully I will coach collegiate gymnastics.
That is awesome. I also hear congratulations is in order because you've been named a finalist for an award.
Yes, the Honda Sports Award. That's very cool.
For our viewers, tell everybody what that is for.
It is for
Top female gymnast. Okay.
the top
and you're a
female
finalist.
gymnast. Yes, I've never been a finalist.
Congratulations.
So thank you. I've always seen Maggie and Stosh getting this award. They've been absolutely amazing, and I've never been a finalist, so that's really cool. I didn't think that I would ever be a finalist, but
I don't know
yeah.
if we get a vote here on the end zone, but if I get a vote, Audrey Davis gets the end zone vote for this award. So
Thank you.
let's try and make that happen. There's a big celebration on Monday. Before we take a time out and do Moving the Chains, there's a big celebration on Monday, hoping to
Yes.
see a lot of fans show up and support you guys.
Yes, it would mean the world for everybody to come to the LNC to hang out with us and just support us. It was an amazing season, and we would not have been where we were at the end of the day without Sooner Nation there for us. So it was amazing, and we really want everybody to come hang out with us.
As a fan of gymnastics, it's been a lot of fun to watch, I think, just the overall fan support of you guys' program and the sport as a whole over the last, 10 years or so. It's really
you.
grown a lot. Audrey Davis is going to be in the hot seat on the other side of the break. It's Moving the Chains next here on the End Zone. Welcome back to the End Zone. It's time for everybody's favorite segment, Moving the Chains. I gotta say, I'm pretty stoked about this edition of Moving the Chains. It'll be the first time that I am the tallest person in this segment. It's never happened before, so we are breaking records here.
I wore
so
my
thank you
double
very
deckers,
much.
so
Thank
I'm
you very much. So I'm just excited that I'm not the short person this time. So I'm
me.
pretty stoked about that. I am the least accomplished person up here though. So 5-time national champion Audrey Davis is joining us as Oklahoma just wrapped up another national championship, number 7 for KJ Kindler in control of this dominant program. All right, so we put a twist on Moving the Chains this week. Instead of going for a first down and getting yardage, we're going to do 4 different, what do you guys call them? Events, apparatuses.
Yes.
Apparatuses. And I'm going to score you on a scale of 1 to 10. So depending on how well you answer the question, you're shooting for a perfect 10.
Okay.
Little gymnastics twist
Okay.
on Moving the Chains. All right, first question. What is your most embarrassing either gymnastics moment, sports moment, practice moment? There's got to be something. A 5-time national champion somewhere along the way has to have an embarrassing moment, right?
Yes, so
Okay.
it took me a while, but the first time that Lou came into the gym, my current coach, he came into the gym to watch my gymnastics. He was recruiting. I had never had a college coach come into the gym, and we were doing routines, and it was the first time I was nervous for anyone coming to watch my gymnastics, and he was there watching our practice, and I went and I was doing my bar routine, and I think I did the worst bar routine I've ever done. I did, it's called a rikna. You do a KOKH kind of, and I landed on top of the bar, and I bounced off of the bar and landed on my head on the ground.
Oh,
and
no.
Yeah, so that's kind of
On the
embarrassing.
recruiting trip.
Yes, whenever Lou was there for the first time, that was his first experience of hanging out with me.
You're like, welcome to the show.
Literally, you're
That's
so
all.
welcome.
Okay, you know what? That was good. We're off to a great start. I'm going to go 9.95 on that one.
Okay.
So solid score. You delivered. What a perfect 10, but we still have 3 questions to go. So question number 2. I've been around KJ Kindler a lot. She's so intense. I love just the desire to win. As a sports person, it just gets me fired up. So whether it's a funny story or an intense story, I just want to know your best KJ Kindler story.
My best KJ Kindler story. Oh my gosh, I don't think a lot of people know this, but I think 2 years ago at Nationals, KJ had broken her heel like at the beginning during warm-ups, and she was standing on her toes the entire meet, like jumping up and down. And I don't know if people know this, but when you break a heel, it's kind of hard to walk. She's walked around the entire meet, the entire day on a broken heel, and no one knew until after the meet. And she told us, and we were all cracking up on the bus.
With the game face on the whole time,
literally,
right?
And you couldn't tell. I'm like, that's so impressive, because I couldn't do that.
That's a good answer. Let's go 9975 for that one. That was really
Thanks.
good, and it's very fitting because I can totally see her not even blinking in the face of adversity. All right, you are going to be in the zombie apocalypse, right?
Okay.
What 3 teammates of yours, and you can pick yourself as well, what 3 teammates are the most likely to survive the zombie apocalypse?
3 teammates. Okay. I'd have to say I want to be with Ava and Feta, because they would be the time ever. Like, they would have so much fun. And I think that, like, Feta grew up on a farm. Like, she's got this. Ava is an only child, but I think, like, when she needs to be there and ready to go, she's got it in the bag. And then I would have to say probably, I think Jordan.
Okay.
Because she's just got that face, like, she could help out.
She knows how to, like, deliver.
She knows how to
when,
do it.
yeah.
Yeah, she's got it. So those are my 3 people: Jordan, Ava, and Feta.
All right, I'm going to give you a 10.
Period.
You got a 10, perfect 10 on the third. We still have one more to go.
Okay,
So
okay.
try to get 2.
Okay.
And don't
got
crash
this.
and burn on the final question.
Okay.
Does a straw have 1 hole or 2 holes?
Oh gosh. Okay.
We debated this on a family vacation recently for like 15 minutes, and everybody had a different answer. So, a straw, is there 1 hole or 2 holes?
I think 2 holes, because that's like asking a question like if a t-shirt has 4 holes, like a t-shirt
Okay,
has
so
4
see, I'm holding
holes.
this. It's just
Yes.
1 continuous hole, though, right?
Yes,
it
it
has
is.
2 openings, but it's still the same
But
hole.
then if you have a long plastic, then you have to cut it twice to be able to have a hole at the top and a hole at the bottom. So it's 2.
I don't like that. See, I don't like that logic. I'm glad you got a 10 on the third question, because you can't get a 10 on this one because it's 1 hole. 1 hole is the answer. Look, you made a really good case, so I'll go 9925.
Okay.
You made a good
that's
case
enough.
for it, but it wasn't a perfect 10. Audrey, we appreciate you joining us,
Thank
and let's
you.
do it again soon.
Thank you.
Audrey Davis joining us, OU gymnast, 5-time national champion. We'll wrap up the show with Gideon Hamilton talking OSU quarterbacks in the transfer portal next year on The End Zone. Welcome back for the final time this week. Gideon Hamilton with WWLS, the sports animal, rejoins us. Gideon, we're going to have you do maybe a bars routine to follow up Audrey Davis here in a moment.
You were like the tough Russian judge. You were giving out some rough scores there.
I gave a 10. I gave a 10. She got at least 1.
She should have gotten a 10 on the last one. I can tell you that much.
Absolutely not. I will not budge on my stance. But you know what? We'll have to debate that after the show. So last week we talked about the finale for OU spring football. OSU had their finale last Saturday, and since then, Gideon, 2 quarterbacks have entered the transfer portal. I think most people felt like Garrett Rangel was going to be the favorite to win the job in the fall, and then Maya Smith, who was the freshman that played toward the end of last year, also entered the portal. What are you thinking of the quarterback situation in Stillwater?
Well, it's beneficial for everybody involved. As people know, there's more roster constraints on the number of players that you can have on the team. There's also financial constraints now in today's day and age. So letting those guys know, hey, you're not going to be able to play this year most likely outside of an emergency scenario, lets them go to a place where they're going to have an opportunity to play. And I think both guys will. I think both guys showed something when they were at Oklahoma State that will benefit them in the future. And now you're down to Haas Haney and you're down to Zane Flores, and it's all about promise, but the fact that those 2 are the guys that they've settled on lets you know what they think about them and how they've performed in workouts so far.
I did hear one theory where someone said basically those 2 guys, because they have more years of eligibility, maybe get the benefit of the doubt over Rangel. I think you just have to go with the best guy, right? In this era of college football with the transfer portal and NIL, there's no guarantees beyond 1 season. There's no guarantees within 1 season, right?
Yep.
So I don't know how much I buy into that, but is that a factor in your mind?
Particularly coming off of the season that they had a year ago.
Right.
You need to win as many games as possible, so they're going to bank on whoever performs the best. Now, there is a track record there, or lack thereof, when it comes to quarterback selection. But these guys are going to have a full-out quarterback battle going into fall, and we'll see who emerges.
In terms of the rest of the squad, what are you hearing in terms of standouts or anything like that?
I've been impressed with the work that the new staff has done, because it's brand new on both sides of the ball in the spring portal. Because early on, the initial portal, you're getting guys in from he played where, and now you're getting into some bigger schools.
All right, we are out of time. We got to run. Gideon, thanks for joining us. Hopefully we're talking about a Thunder win next week. I'm Colby Daniels. Everybody have a great weekend.